Okay, it's a champagne and caviar podcast. Only I forgot to bring out the caviar, but I did find those thin crackers, so I loaded up. I bought all but 2 boxes. And Shawnee bought out Sierra Vista. Andy Andrist is here.
Hello.
Ggreg, Chaille. And we gotta call it, text Chad Shank while we're talking.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him we're podcasting already and all day. And Bingo's on a mic, though she won't say much.
Oh, she'll say something.
She'll text you. She'll Facebook you live Facebooking during the podcast.
Do you want me to call Chad Shank? Tell him to get
Just
over
text
here?
him, yeah.
Just tell him to come over?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
He was planning on it.
Okay.
Depending on how murdery he feels today.
Murdery. I love that.
Don't make direct eye contact with Chad Shank when he gets here, especially you, Damien.
Yeah, it's an alpha male thing. You guys will just have to walk around back and shoot jizz on each corner.
And Sam is in the house. He's the journalist, and I was trying to explain Andy to him and how Andy will start a story halfway through, and you have no fucking idea what he's talking about. And Sam says, I quite understood him.
I might be British.
And
I might identify as British.
While I was making smoothies, I was wishing you were in the kitchen, because Andy starts, this is Andy's story. He goes, yeah, well, I get one guy to drink my piss, and I felt really bad because I told him it was a really good piss, so I apologized, and then
it's kind of like the Rain Man.
And then he kind of wraps that up,
Did you throw the bait?
And I didn't even, at this point, I've known Andy long enough that I just, I'm sure there's a story there, but right now I'm trying to make smoothies. But then he did back up so I go, where is this guy? Where are you? Make this, trolling Craigslist. Okay, well, that starts to make sense. But you're going to say that at the beginning before I made that.
I'm going to go linear
this guy
with
to
this.
Drink my piss, and I felt bad.
Okay. So I'm helping Christine Levine write her porn store thing. So I didn't want to go to the porn stores.
One woman show basically about
her life as a porn clerk.
All right.
So I wanted to write some things with the point, but I don't want to go hang out in that place or whatever and get sucked in, as they say, or whatever. So I trolled Craigslist. I heard something.
It was for research for Christine.
Exactly. I was looking for the weirdest fuck on there, and the human toilet won. But it was no contest that day.
That was the subject, the caption.
He called himself the human toilet. So
right.
I was like, fuck yes, this is the guy I want to talk to him without talking to him, So we went back and forth on it, and
what did the ad say?
He wanted to be pissed, he wanted to be pissed on or some dump of full hot steamy load and any time, here's his phone number. And you
not gender exclusive?
I assumed it was a feller.
No, but I'm saying he could, anyone with piss? It wasn't a dude?
I guess, I don't know that part, but it was in the dude section.
Seems like a very important part.
No, not if it's piss. If you're into piss, what do you care where it comes
for someone
from?
answering the ad, it seems like it's important that you know.
And I think, I don't know. I think it could go either way.
I'm not pissing on a dude.
I know, that's so gay.
So you make contact.
I do a bunch of, it's a long, exchange, and then I he was thinking I'm drinking. It's true though. I did have asparagus, and I told him I was vitamins, and I had some rich golden urine I'd squirt in his face and shit, and then to get his point of view on things, and then so how did that go? Anyway, I got to the point.
You made contact.
Sure.
You said it. I assume you're in a park for some reason.
I was just at home.
He came by your house?
No. So I was just when I was trolling him, I was at home. So, but I go, and I felt bad because he was like,
when you actually hooked up with the guy.
See, and what you said earlier, I started to fuck up and jump ahead. So, I'm taking new meds and everything's better. So I said, I had this pale piss off. I was a cock tease, basically. That's what I come up with. when I said, no, I can't make it. Like we were arranged to meet and I was going to piss on him in public. And then I said, I have some business that I can't get to, Actually, I'm too busy to give you a face full of piss.
I'm sorry. My kid was on fire. I had to put her out. How about tomorrow?
Right. Like I just got UA'd, a random piss test. Sorry, bro. So, and then it was like, kind of like that's when I got his thing, like, no, that happened 10 times to me yesterday. And then kind of a passive aggressive, like, he's a human toilet, but he has feelings. So, I pissed in a cup like I do, and I had a big steamy, I told him it was vitamins. It was actually antibiotics. But, whatever. It's a human toilet when it gets down to it. It's a human toilet with feelings, but, antibiotic can hurt, in that situation. So I decide, okay, I took the picture of the cup and I said, look, I don't want to piss all over you in public.
That's what he wanted, though.
Yeah, he wanted me to just
in
wherever.
public, or was that your idea?
No, that was his ad, piss on him, like maybe I assume a Texaco, or whatever. You just go meet up and piss on him, and he wanted it on his shirt and shit. I don't know. But I arranged, I go, I'll hand you this cup in Springfield and he goes, I'm in Springfield. So I was like, oh, cool. I was driving towards it, and then I was going to hit the Dutch Brothers, and he says, before I get to that, he's like,
that's on his to-do list.
I'd really appreciate if we could knock off a couple of these tasks on the way to the pissing.
Yeah, so he's a fat ginger, bottom, I guess. That was in his ad too, or whatever, but so he says he's at Dutch Brothers. It's a drive-through kiosk. So it's
a coffee thing, right?
Yeah, drive-through coffee. And I was like, that's great. I got this full Dutch Brothers cup of piss. And then this guy says he's there. So I was like, oh, this will be awkward. I'm going to get my mocha and trade the,
he's going to dump hot coffee on himself, expecting lukewarm piss.
No. I had the piss.
They're exchanging
that's a
hot
Three's
liquid.
Company episode where they mix up the cups.
Mr. Furley. Ooh, he's gay. I've got AIDS. Ooh, I got one bullet and I'm using it.
So you give him the
So
piss
no, he's standing over
drive-thru?
there. He said he was a fat ginger, but he was around rotund, soft, white, fleshy ginger guy with, looked like a bigger, fatter version of Louis C.K. kind of.
Fat ginger sounds like your words.
He's like next year's Louis C.K.
The after
if you
picture.
took a little bit of Ralphie May's food and you fed Louis C.K. that extra food. Anyway, so he was standing up over to the thing, and I was gonna go. I was gonna pull through the thing to get my coffee, and then he was standing right there. So I was like, I'll take care of this business and loop around or whatever. He's standing there. He's holding a mocha. So I guess that was his plan B if I didn't show up. And he sees it and he gets all fucking, weird. It's, it made him happy.
Grinny.
Yeah, very fucking, he's kind of.
Here he comes.
Santa's here.
Yeah, payday. Like a tweaker getting a paycheck or something. So I handed it to him and he goes, and he was very, I could tell it was like, I don't do much for other people. So this was like a chance to get out there in the community, and I handed him this piss, and he's so fucking happy looking, and he goes, you want a mocha? And I go, fuck yes, I want a mocha, and he handed me the mocha, and I was like, that, so I guess that was his plan B, like if I didn't show up, he'd have a mocha and loop around looking for somebody else to piss on him. So that's the end of that piece. Next.
Oh, so you just gave him the piss and drove off into the sunset?
He gave me the mocha, and I got the hell out of there. I didn't want to stay with him and see what he did to that piss. I mean,
or that mocha.
I saw James Inman drink my piss, and it made me sick. I almost gagged when Inman drank my urine.
Yeah, Inman was at the desert, and he was saying, "No, you can drink your piss to survive in the desert." And he kept going on with this. So finally, Andy called his bluff and
He did
pissed
it.
into a cup, and Inman drank it. And said, "See,
to shut us all up."
No, you're supposed to drink your own urine."
Yeah, if you're in a survival situation, well, this is not really one of those. We have water.
Did Inman give you a mocha?
No, fuck no. Inman owes me a mocha.
What drove you to this place in life?
What? I had to write that fucking thing for Levine, and I don't have that creepy dialogue that
I just wrote a book. I gave no one any excrement or excretions or
I don't do that.
fluids.
I don't do that. I haven't. I mean, that's the only time I sold stuff on Craigslist. But it's like, the cock pictures are fucking gross, and most of it's like, use your own. Why would you use your own? There's so many other dicks that are probably better than yours. Use that as the headshot and bait them or something. But
can we talk about the your home situation?
Oh yeah, it's good.
Andy,
we got some rotted boards in front.
Yeah, no. I mean, your wife has some brain disorder. We probably brought it up on the podcast last time you were on.
Yeah. It's a real stupid name disease, and it's stupid because it's like fucking, you tell people she's got cancer and they give a fuck, or they put on a face like they give a fuck or whatever. But ultimately, it's called Erdheim-Chester, and that's just not a good pickup line. My wife's going through chemotherapy for Erdheim-Chester. Get away from me, creep. But if I say cancer, then like back rubs, and it's like, okay, cool. I like sympathy.
Andy calls me up one day and he says he's having such a hard time with his wife because she has this brain disorder. She's moaning and pain and misery. So he says, I just hang out in the basement now, and I put on lesbian porn, and I put it on mute. So that way when my wife's moaning upstairs, I can pretend it's coming from the lesbian porn, and it doesn't depress me so much.
I said it in a more sensitive way. I don't think that was the tone, but I was like, because it was a fucked up thing, but she's up there and it was new pain, there's different things that were going on. So it was like new pain caused by the chemotherapy, because she gets the same treatment as cancer. So can't I just say cancer when I'm out and about? My wife has cancer, not Erdheim-Chester. Anyway.
Sure.
So the chemotherapy, I guess it was, I don't even know. It went away though, and she got Oxycontin. So long story short, we just saw,
Long story short is she's taking a lot of Advil that she thinks is Oxycontin.
No. I wouldn't do that. Mints. They gotta look fucking exact, and her eyesight's not that good, so I could have gotten lazy and put M&Ms in there. She's half a Magoo.
I don't doubt for a second that you actually had lesbian porn. When you said that,
no.
that would be any other comedian's
But it's
joke.
that softcore business, like the Stars Network or Cinemax, and it's just like, because she's up there and she's moving around a lot, and it's like, and if you're next to somebody who's annoying at the hospital, that's feeling or whatever, but it's like, I can either go up and cry with her, hold her, or let her gut it out, that's what I played high school football, and we walked it off, man. So, it ain't going to do any good if I get up there, because I'm just going to get surly and go, Jesus, walk it off, man. And, so I stayed down, and I didn't want to, what do you turn on the TV? like soft jazz or whatever. So I put it on and watched I always fast forward to the lesbo parts, but it's that stupid. They're always some science.
Yeah, while your wife did the de facto soundtrack.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I could kind of lose myself in that. And I think you asked if I jacked off, and I said, that's disgusting. I couldn't jack off to that softcore shit they have on the Cinemax.
You said you've been back to nature jacking?
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself back into shape and clear my mind.
Good for you, Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
We're at out in Death Valley, and his brother's with him, and they go to this ghost town. And they're going through all the burned out, the houses like in California that they used in the nuclear testing. Yeah, those houses that they
burnout. It was high. We had to hike our asses off, and we were Andrist brothers, so we didn't have any supplies. And if it got to the point where I was like, if this thing isn't up here, we're fucked. But wow,
I wish I hadn't given Inman my piss. What am I going to drink?
Yeah,
lost out here.
I know. That's what the next level of that Naked and Afraid. Why don't they eat jizz? Why isn't jizz something? They're alpha males, man, and they're survivalists. If you don't got an eel, you better suck your own jizz, or the other alpha male's going to suck you off and have your protein.
So they get back from this ghost town architectural.
It's up in the Sierras.
No, it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good distance from Panamint Springs.
It's called Panamint City though, and you can't get there anymore. The road's washed out. So, but there's running water up there, so if you get there and you made the left and that was the correct choice, you're going to survive. The other one, I'm not so
So
sure.
he's giving us a recap of his day when they get back from this major hike in the ghost town. And he goes, yeah, and one of them is just like, is only like 2 walls and the rest is caved in. I jacked off in that one. And then there's another one. Wait, go back to I jacked off in that? You're hiking with your brother and you go into an abandoned building and beat off?
Not even a building.
I know it sounds weird, but he was doing his own thing. He may have been beaten off in another one. We don't talk about such matters because we're family and there's a lot of weird secrets. But there's also a long fucking mining cave. That's where I got them gems and opened my comedy club the next day.
All right, so go back to your recent nature jacking.
Well, Big Sur, I'm trying to remember where it started. I think maybe I just felt like I needed to get to the Big Sur, and that's where I jacked. But I just, I was watching the I was taping the ocean, and I don't get erections like I used to. I know, and that's good. I'm glad. Good riddance, fucko. What an asshole. No, he wasn't an asshole. He's a dick, but I'm glad he's, it's like a dog. It ages, and it's like better to be around after a few years. So I'm glad. But I get them at weird times. So I'm listening to the ocean, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go. It's like, oh, so I'm jerking it on the shore. It's early morning. I'm up before everybody. It's dark. There's a bus of Christians, a tour bus parked up there. So I thought about doing it outside of that, but that's the old me. So I went down to the beach and I'm just taping the ocean sounds, cause
You're right off of a PCH right there.
Yeah, both Levine and Figler in San Simeon. And
this is on this tour.
Yeah.
Right.
So Figler and Levine, they sound like the ocean too when they're sleeping in the same thing. It's like the same fucking deal. So I wanted that as a soundtrack. So then I started, oceans, I'm okay, whatever, Mother Earth, I know you're dying, but, fuck you. And so I'm just getting into the rhythm of the waves and stuff. And it's like so anyway, and I'm taping the ocean sound and then the waves start coming. So I'm moving back and multitasking.
Oh, you're standing. You're standing,
sure,
recording
I'm not
audio of the ocean while
ocean.
Trying to keep your shoes out of the
Well,
surf.
they were.
So you're running in like a kid, trying to run back out.
No. That's
Jerking
bullshit.
off
She
at the
came
same
to me. I was just standing there, and the waves started coming up further than they were. So I was standing there minding my own business, and then the waves. So I realized though when I look, then I accidentally taped my feet or whatever, and then and Levine's wrong. There's no evidence there that I finished. But anyway, the waves came, and then I'm walking back and forth with it a little bit, like I'm on mushrooms or something. But I'm just
you're trying to time it for a wave.
No, it was dark, so I was just, I couldn't really see really well what was coming up ahead because it was really crashing and beautiful.
I pictured this in mid-afternoon.
Yeah. Well, you said early in the morning you got up.
Well, that's the old me too. If the Christian bus, I might have tried to heap one off in front of them just to horrify them all the way back to North Carolina. Give them something besides Jesus to discuss for a minute. But,
Ethel!
Yeah, but that gets me in trouble and I don't want to get arrested again. Oh,
okay, yeah. I guess we're gonna go there.
No.
Did we finish the nature jacking? I feel like
yeah, I think it is. Anyway, but Mother. But it felt right though. It's like because I was kind of rhymthmically walking back and forth and stuff, and so.
Why were you recording audio and nature jacking?
Because I wanted to go get something to eat.
Well, clearly
I was
that's
getting
fine.
ready to infiltrate the Better Hotel Continental Breakfast, and I wanted to get there before the tourist. So I taking care of business, and I thought the tape of the ocean would be relaxing.
Yeah.
It turns out it could have been evidence of me raping myself on the ocean.
That could come from a massage place.
But what do you think those Who's the poet?
Environmental tapes,
right?
Yeah.
Who's the poet that did the Big Sur? Those beatniks loved the Big Sur.
Kerouac.
Yeah, all those guys.
Yeah.
What do you think they were doing out there? Writing poems? They were jerking off into the ocean and then writing poems.
So where's your poem?
I think it's called Nature Jack.
We'll write it on the break. All right, we got to refill these mimosas.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to the UK and Europe. The dates are at DougStanhope.com. We're doing England, Scotland, Ireland, Denmark, Iceland, Amsterdam, Norway. I think we're even doing Sweden. Go to DougStanhope.com. But for the 5 weeks that I'm gone, there's no way I'm going to try to pack fucking podcasting equipment and trust Brian the Filthy Uncut Scotsman to do it. He can't be Chaille. He will never be Chaille. So my thought was to have Chad Shank fill in for me for 5 weeks and be my guest host of the Doug Stanhope Podcast. Well, that's up to you, the listeners. If you'd like him to do that, tweet him at HDFatty, at HD as in Harley Davidson, Fatty, Fatty. And if more people want him to do this and he gets more tweets, it will affect his ego and make him smile more when he's trying to not kill people at home. All-Star Podcast, since you guys have bought those fucking football helmets or are buying those to pay for this. Coming soon, Christine Levine. Click. Hey, UK merch is on sale. Where? In the UK? No, just on the website. Can't deal with all those problems with selling merch in the UK, but you can get UK t-shirts on the website at DougStanhope.com and posters. We have, Jim Ether's doing posters too? We got posters. We have t-shirts. We have everything you need to go out in public naked. A poster to cover your genitals and a t-shirt to cover your voluptuous man top. And go to DougStanhope.com and look for the merchandise page. My World Tour. Asterisk. Places that speak English that will still book me. Yeah.
Rolling.
Okay, I'm back with Andy Andrist and the history of the wheelchair. We have a wheelchair here that has been spray painted and weather beaten. It's almost 10
Bingo
years.
on it. Yeah, it's all spray painted up.
But it still survives. And that was the first, back when this was I was just that house and this house. This was a torn down shed. This is a slab because I bought some piece of shit RV for $1,500 and we had a New Year's Eve party. It was our first year living here. And we had like 15 people come. And it's a small house. Even with the guest house, it's small. There's people sleeping in the crawl space. We set up beds in the crawl space. It was that tight. And in the RV.
No trailers, nothing.
This whole thing I realize now, like I just was, followed a story on through, but I realized how fucking actually, the mushroom trip and all that shit, that wheelchair, when I came down here, I thought I was dead and I was going to go to hell or whatever.
Okay, you're way ahead.
I know, yeah.
Let's start
ahead.
with getting the wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's a good
So we
tease.
just moved in here 6 months before, so we have a party and people come from out of town. And
MySpace invites too.
That's true.
well, that's how we met Joby.
I know,
Yeah,
but these
on
were
MySpace. We met him that night.
the wheelchair lady was a MySpace.
Well, no, she was a friend of Hags.
Hags.
Oh, really? That
Yeah,
explains
Hags.
it.
That was Hags' ride. We had
Oh,
a
my
friend named
God.
Hags who we haven't heard from in years. And she brought this friend who had like MS or
CP, something. She was in a
something-
wheelchair.
Chatty
in a-
Cathy disease.
in a wheelchair, but didn't have to be. Like she could get around awkwardly, stumbly.
It's more convenient to be in the chair.
So yeah, she'd take a chair for long distances, but inside the house. And the woman was the most annoying fucking person in the world. And it's always difficult when someone's a douchebag and handicapped.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you feel like an asshole for hating them. But this woman would just blather on every room she went into. Everyone secretly crept out of till there's one person cornered. And then she'd switch rooms when that person got away and clear out another room. It's like a roach bomb, this woman.
She was like a less mobile, cuntier version of me.
And all she talked about was her disability.
Yeah.
And she was going to beat it, but still it was passive aggressive. What do they call that on the internet? Where you humble brag? There was the kind of that effect of positive, but keeping the focus on the negativity about her condition, even in a positive way. You go, you're still just trying to make me feel bad for you Hey, so if we spend the night, this is where you're doing mushrooms and
Yeah.
thought I was the devil. And
Yeah, you were the devil. Fucking Luke, Father Luke's morphed into Jesus, which he naturally did. And I was up at that place and everybody disappeared and I
Oh, wait,
ended up,
okay. There's a giant old schoolhouse kitty corner to here. And those neighbors we hadn't met, and they crept in at some point of the party.
We were playing. We had music going, live music. My friends were playing. Rob was on the saxophone, and they came down.
Yeah, this was before even the patio. They were just playing in the dining room.
Yeah, we didn't have a patio then.
Yeah, Butters was rapping. It was a very surreal, tripping night.
Butters in a dress. Remember?
Yeah, Butters in a dress.
Yeah,
and
that was normal.
the neighbors came in at one point, and I'm, charcoal eyes, and I go, "Hi, welcome, cocktail? Want some mushrooms?" And they go, "Sure." This is what's his name? Tom, that died, the yoga guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wendy when they were together, and they said,
but they wanted Robin to play saxophone in that main room.
No, they said that her daughter was like 7. It was her birthday on New Year's Eve, and she was sad as she heard the party going on. So he said, "Fuck it, we'll bring the party to her." And we had Rob come up with his saxophone, and it's an old schoolhouse, turn of the century, and with these massive ceilings, and it just echoed. It's inside of a bass drum, and you're tripping, and everyone's dressed weird, and we bring this whole parade up at like 11 o'clock at night and go in, and he plays in there at atrium, booming, just wailing out a sax solo for the kid. And that's the house you're talking about.
Yeah, and there was a lot of us. We were all in this thing, and it was really cool. Oh, I got to ask you this, though. The guy probably who died, did he have gnarled claw-like hands?
Can't remember. He might have that night.
Because his hands got really fucking weird. And then Father Luke was sweet knowing Jesus staring at me. And then I was in with everybody, and then everybody was gone. And I was in the back courtyard, and the garage doors looked like the stuffed monkeys my daughter had, 2 faces. I was like out there thinking, well, how do I get back? But it was like that episode of MASH where that guy was dead and he was trying to find how to get out of, how to go to hell or wherever.
We couldn't get out either.
This is like you explaining a dream.
Anyway, I can cut it to the, it is.
He had gnarled hands and there's 2 monkey heads that reminded me of my daughter.
Okay, so I was in this courtyard for a long time.
But it wasn't really my daughter.
I mean, I don't know how long I was out there, but
in the house up there on the hill, the schoolyard.
So we all go up in this one big flash mob party for the kid, and then we bring it back home, but they
lost one.
Andy behind.
No,
they
a
left
lot of us
straggler.
got stuck in there. Me and Rob couldn't find our way out.
Yeah, it's a weird estate over there.
And then the young girl kept showing up, and it was like horrible.
Oh yeah, she was like the girl from The Shining. Even
so
when you weren't
scary.
tripping.
Fuck yes, okay.
So scary.
So I finally go, well, I've got to get to hell. I figure I'm dead or whatever, and I just don't want to be there. It's what I think I was a ghost for a minute because I was like, probably their problems. But
she came over a couple of times after that, like during the day. She's
still
come over and like all really nightmarishly. She had the like eyes of an elderly person that's staring, and she came over for like weird reasons.
She was like 7. Do you
think?
Like
we're not hanging around. We don't hang around with 7-year-olds.
Maybe I don't have a bad head for mushrooms after all, because I went. So finally, I got up around that path, and I don't think I remembered seeing that girl. So I go up there, and there's 2 of them, and they're doing fireworks, and they go, "You can't go that way, mister." And then I turned around and went back to the fucking courtyard because I thought that was my daughter at 2 ages. I wouldn't get to see her, so I was just dead and floating around again, going, "Fuck, man, that was my path out, and how do I get past them bitches?" So that guy finally, the guy with the somebody, he's like walking down. You know how fuck that the
road is all completely divoted
and it's
and
dark, and
rutted.
I can hear the party, and he's taking me down, but it's a hot flash going down, and I'm going to hell, and it's fine. I figured that anyway. But he had a tight grip on and he's like, I don't know what this fucking deal was. But anyway, I broke free of him because I was like, I'm going to find it myself. See ya. And I came into the party, but I was just Silent Bob. And then the fucking table was set, that big red table, and there were symbols like monkeys and shit and things that it just, fucking shit. So I didn't say anything because I was just waiting for the angel of death or whoever. And then fucking big gummy JD, Jack and Dino,
yeah.
He's standing in the corner there and kept looking at me, and he had them big, big gums in the fucking Hawaiian shirt, and I was like, yeah, it's like, kind of thinking, oh, okay.
So you're having a bad trip.
I was thinking, no, I was kind of just waiting to go to hell. I wasn't necessarily bad tripping, but I thought he's the angel of death, in a Hawaiian shirt. I was thinking, what the fuck?
Tom, the guy that walked you home, he just died a couple years ago. There's just a weird aside, but they split up. Wendy, the wife, left. I'm playing at, the place we first played in New Orleans.
One-Eyed Jacks?
One-Eyed Jacks.
Yeah.
And I'm in the green room, and the manager comes back and says, there's a lady out front said, she knows you, her name's Wendy. And I go, only Wendy I know is in life.
Yeah.
Is my neighbor from Bisbee, so I doubt it was her. And I said, oh, yeah, definitely bring her back. And she had just split up with him, moved to New Orleans, saw me. She's walking down the street and saw my name.
On the marquee.
And she immediately bursts into tears about the divorce. And I'm about to go on stage. And I just vaguely know this
her,
woman.
yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't know if you know this. I
hugging
have
her.
cancer.
And
Have a good show.
just trying to keep her upbeat. And then, so Tom, when we get back, Tom's big sauce bag.
Yeah.
And a couple times we came home. One time I came home and I walked into the kitchen and he's walking out with a cup going, I owe you some vodka, and just walks out the front door.
He doesn't say anything else.
And they said, we really don't know them that well. I didn't care. But yeah, he's over here with his dog one night, taking a bottle of vodka.
While we're getting home, yeah.
We're a little low on sugar. So that's
wait,
what.
were you with Shawnee just walked in, but were you there the night we were all sitting up there? We had a fire going right after that had
Russ
been
Dunn.
leveled. Oh, it was Russ Dunn.
Russ
Okay,
Dunn.
it was Russ.
So that guy, he was probably drunk. That's why he was probably grabbing my arm for support. And I was like, fuck this shit.
Or shaking you down.
I would be the last one to choose for a buddy
I
system.
think we're way far off of the wheelchair story.
We're getting to it though.
Oh, good.
I think
All right.
we're in the mushroom trip that led to the why I took the wheelchair. But, so I sat here for a long time and that dance slab was painted red and glittery and there was an empty wheelchair. I didn't even know there was a wheelchair person and my dad was in a wheelchair. So I thought I was supposed to get in the wheelchair and that would be, so I wasn't like tripping and sobbing and shit. I was just kind of like, where's hell? Jesus.
Well, this is interesting because Bingo, when her medication is bad, she goes through these same things.
Yeah.
In the book,
no.
the best I could describe mental illness is
It's
a bad
mushroom
trip.
Yeah. But
I'm
totally
going to hell. I'm
sober.
supposed to die. I just have to
right.
accept my death. And the
Yeah.
exact same story.
Yeah.
It is. It's very much like tripping, but with no.
With no come down.
Yeah, there's you can't go. It's 6 hours. Ride it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be days.
Yeah. Or ever, or maybe you're right.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
So anyway, and I tried to, I was like thinking, I probably was like kept going up to the chair and deciding not to, doing that sort of shit. And Doug comes up to me at some point and goes, what do you need? Why won't you? You used to be so much fun. Do you need some blow? Do you need, and I was thinking, well, I wonder if that killed me or whatever. And then, I didn't think you were the devil, but I thought it was a hell of a pep talk on the way out or whatever.
Want some blow? Want a drink?
So
More
but
mushrooms?
I went down underneath the house, like you were describing that fucking crawl space under there. And I was like, I'm just need to be away from everybody or whatever, and get, maybe they'll find me. And Fat Arthur was down there and I assumed he was dead because he's just fat. And then he was down there and bumming me out with his thing, breathing and whatnot. And so I went back out and I, considered the wheelchair again. And I don't even know where I went down that evening or when it ended. But,
I know where it ended for us. It was the first time the cops ever came here. And it was about 4:30 in the morning and we're in the little house doing blow. And fortunately,
There's a window.
The window was open, and as we're cutting it up, I look up and I see two cops coming down the driveway because the band had just stopped inside. So it's very quiet. Again, it's twice the cops have been called, and everyone just shuts up by the time they get here to make the caller look like a dick. No, it was really loud 5 minutes ago.
And this was
So
before the gate was installed, the perimeter.
Yeah, we're in the little house.
Yeah, so there's no announcement.
We
You
can
just
see
see
it
people
walking.
walking
We're-
into
Yeah,
your yard.
I just happened to look up and see them and then put the Coke away and walked out. They go, yeah, sorry, I said we had a band. They went a little too long, but we shut it all down. Like, have a happy new year. Have a good night. Fucking cool as shit. That was our first,
That's where it ended.
Yeah, that's where it ended. So, cut to
the
ugly morning.
the morning hungover or whatever, paranoia really more than anything. But this was another thing about death that I just found really insulting is I had to stop and piss quite a bit. Thinking, God damn it, I get hell now because I'm still pissing and I haven't had anything to drink.
But everyone's climbing out.
This wheelchair now has a cunt in it, and they're loading up, and they're these Haig's friends. Anyway,
Yeah, they were just overnight guests.
Yeah, the little skinny guy comes up and they're ready to roll out. Their truck's backed up all the way to the house because they probably stole shit, but who knows? And he goes, I've never really heard this, especially starting a fairly long road trip. You got any Jaeger to go?
Yeah. Is there any of that Jägermeister left?
And I go, I'll give you a whole bottle for a wheelchair. And they went and did their figuring. Family budget and whatnot. And, what can we cut out that we don't need? I don't even know why I said it, but it was because it was the paranoia part of it, but I knew I wasn't dead, and I knew that didn't represent anything except the cunt, and I don't know, but I just never heard that before. And then I gave her a bottle of Doug's Jaeger. And so it is your chair.
She goes, I'm going to do it because that was my New Year's Eve resolution. I'm going to walk this year.
I'm going to do more walking and more dancing than I could somewhere else. And they had a bunch of stickers and they redid it. But
as destroyed as that wheelchair is, it will never leave this property.
It pretty much
shit in it anymore.
Pretty much model wise and everything was like one of my dad's clunkers he had, the really
70s
fucked up wheelchair.
His winter wheelchair.
Yeah, he had a shit wheelchair, but I got good at wheelies and shit. But I had
this one in the mud.
I had a similar
His period chair.
I had a similar Jesus. This was a Jesus paranoia way before I did drugs, but I was getting jerked off by a cripple. But my dad's wheelchair would just be it'd always be folded up when they'd go somewhere or in the car. And one time it was just weird. It was in the middle of the driveway, and I got home, and I'd go to church or I'd have Billy Graham and those preachers and shit, and they'd talk about the rapture. And I thought the rapture was going to happen, and the fact that I was getting molested made me a prime candidate for the hellfire. So I would fucking freak out about the rapture. And that one time I saw my dad's wheelchair, and then I found the church directory thing and started dialing up numbers, and then nobody answered, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know. But paranoia is schizo.
It'll get you.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot something.
Don't forget to catch Andy on his new podcast called The Onion Skin. Just keep peels and peels away.
Well, they want me to pay for it. It's called therapy. And fuck that.
Yeah, we'll be doing more podcasting with Andy Andrist coming up in the podcast to come because I have a list of stories I wanted to get to, and we're pretty much already at a podcast.
Shit.
Andy's always on. You can always count on Andy.
So am I going to heaven? I traded a wheelchair for, fair square. I helped her to regain her step. You
were the agent. You didn't pay
you gave
for
her an excuse
Jaeger.
for stumbling.
No. I wouldn't,
Or rubbery legs. It's not the MS, it's the Jägermeister. I walk fine normally.
She died 2 days later in an escalator accident. her leg was pinched. She should have been doing the elevator, but she's not comfortable standing in those. Oh, well. Life goes on for some, and others it doesn't always. But anyway.
All right. A couple of things that I had. Christopher Aguiar. Maybe we already did mention him.
That one didn't go out.
Oh, all right. Some guy says, "Hey, Doug, I've been wondering for years what kind of dumb thing to send you since you love getting mail, apparently. I just recently finished community college, and I'm moving up to your hometown of Worcester, Massachusetts to finish college at long last. I've finally figured out what to do with my old college ID card that was sitting around gathering dust. I sent it to you so you can see the next generation of Massachusetts escapist. Christopher Aguiar." So if anyone wants a fake ID that doesn't have a birth date on it, of a fat, hey, who'd have guessed I'd have a fat, lonely, pasty, white, young, disenfranchised fan?
Yeah. You're like ISIS. You can recruit the same people over and over.
Yeah, I do a bit about that.
And then they get raped. Yeah.
We're competing for the same demographic through the social media. All right, and I had some other shit, but we'll do that on the next podcast. Okay. All right, thanks for listening, and play the Mattoid.
Flashing neon lights are shining bright tonight. I'm looking for love in this honky tonk, and I see some girls soon, but there's a Buddha living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. Tonight is the night I'm gonna live it up and drink my conscience clear. There's nothing better in this world than these three things right here. Easy living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. They are playing it cool. Fair enough, I better talk to them and try not to look like an asshole. I got my intuition and I don't need no pickup lines. Just get straight into conversation and give them damn good time. Ladies, let's go to my place. Yeah! Easy living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. Tonight is the night I'm gonna live it up and drink my conscience clear. There's nothing better in this world than these three things right here. Easy living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. Easy living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. Easy living, honky-tonk women, and cold beer. Easy living, honky-tonk women,